But we begin on the war in Ukraine. The next round of negotiations between Ukraine and Russia are scheduled this week in Turkey. The talks come as a top Russian general declared that the, quote, first stage of the Kremlin's military plan is complete, and Russian forces will now turn their focus to eastern Ukraine in the Donbas region. The U.S. ambassador to NATO said she has not seen evidence of that. She shared her thoughts on Russia's strategy with CNN Sunday.
What we do have evidence of is the fact that the Russians have not succeeded in their original aims, and that was, as you well know, to take Kyiv in just a couple of days. We're now at the 1 month point, and it's clear that Russian forces are not performing as anticipated, and that this has not gone as planned. So because of that, I think Russia is reassessing, and they've indicated that they're going to alter their tactics.
While Russian forces have not succeeded in taking Kyiv, other cities have suffered great devastation. CBS News foreign correspondent Debora Patta has more on the toll of the war so far.
What Russia lacks in apparent military strategy, it makes up for in boastful videos like this one, claiming to show off their cruise missiles heading to Zhytomyr, 100 miles west of Kyiv. But for Ukrainians at the receiving end of this constant bombardment from the sky, it's hell on earth. The coastal city of Mariupol has been decimated, reduced to twisted skeletons of steel and the hollowed-out shells of apartment blocks. Hasty burials of the dead provide fleeting dignity. The 100,000 people still trapped there have no electricity, very little food, and spend their nights in icy basements. Fleeing the city carries a deadly risk. Many cars come under fire. Victoria Medinska defied death, escaping with her family to the town of Brovary, just outside the capital. All she has left of their life before the war are precious photos and videos stored on her phone.
The town is very destroyed. Nothing, I think, nothing left.
7-year-old Masha remembers everything.
Were you scared? I'm sorry.
And while Mariupol has borne the brunt of the Russian invasion, it's not safe anywhere. In the north, residents in Kharkiv brace for the worst, sandbagging beloved monuments to protect against the bombing. Ukrainians have put up a far tougher resistance than Russia expected, determined and defiant.
And Debora Patta joins us now from Kyiv. Deborah, Russian officials have suggested they are shifting focus away from Ukraine's capital to the Donbas region. You're in Kyiv. What are you seeing on the ground, and what should we make of this pronouncement of the next stage of war?
Well, already in the just over 1 month of fighting, nothing much has gone according to plan, so it's definitely too early to know where this supposed change of focus will in fact lead. Of course, it does beg the bigger question. Has Russian Vladimir Putin scaled back his ambitions in search of a way out of this war? Now, some analysts suggest it's a way of ratcheting down the war to a more achievable aim by focusing on Donbas, but others say it's possible that Russia decided it spread too thinly and that it's going to regroup in Donbas with the aim of making that the starting point for a new offensive, which could then be broadened at a later stage. What is very clear is that Putin's forces are under great strain in many parts of the country and have completely stalled in some areas, including the all-important advance on the capital here in Kyiv. And it has been repeatedly pointed out in the more than 4 weeks since the war began, Ukrainians have put up a far tougher resistance than Putin expected, while Russian forces have been slowed by numerous problems. Their logistics have been weak, they've been running low on food and gas, and they have sustained heavy losses, including reports that as many as 6 Russian generals have been killed. But here in Kyiv and in the areas around the capital, air sirens and shelling continues day and night. In the moments just before we spoke to you, we heard another one. And for Ukrainians on the ground, this remains a living hell.
And Deborah, the United Nations estimates over half of Ukraine's children have been displaced by war. You've spent time in children's wards. What are you seeing there?
Well, as always, children remain the most innocent of victims suffering the most, and they have lost their homes, either fleeing the fighting or crossing the border as refugees. We visited a children's hospital here in Kyiv, where the hospital spokeswoman has made it her mission to document the war's human toll. And she told us that every day she is seeing what she called war crimes. Children caught up in the fighting, sustaining horrific injuries. Many of these are children who are fleeing the war in the worst-hit areas, places like Mariupol. We spoke to a traumatized 13-year-old boy who was trying to escape with his parents by car. They were shot at by Russian forces, and the poor child used his backpack to protect himself, but he was still shot in the face and his back, where one bullet is in fact still lodged. And tragically, his father did not make it out alive. And these stories are repeated over and over again across the country. And sometimes children can't even make it to the hospitals. It's just too dangerous. And there are also parts of the country where staff have had to move the wards to underground basements for fear of being bombed. They are worried that they could, in fact, be targets. There is obviously going to be huge psychological damage done to these children. In the hospital we visited, there's a play area, and the games children are playing are war games. The pictures they are drawing are of fighting and weapons. These are the long-term nightmares that these children will be living with.
Absolutely devastating. And what about the 100,000 still trapped inside Mariupol? Will they be able to leave?
Well, that's a good question. I mean, for those inside Mariupol, they've had no electricity, very little food. They spend most of their nights in icy basements, listening to the shelling outside, and as one woman said, praying that the bombs don't drop on them. There is no time to bury their dead, so you see these hasty burials just outside people's homes or apartments. Families have had to dig their own graves in many cases and just leave makeshift crosses or messages above them to give their loved ones some kind of dignity in death. Up until now, fleeing Mariupol itself has been incredibly dangerous, and many of those who have left have had to drive at breakneck speed, fleeing the gauntlet of being shot at, and some sadly have not made it out alive. Now, Russia and Ukraine have agreed to set up human corridors to allow people to leave the besieged city, including by car. But so far, we don't actually know if that human corridor is working. They have failed many times in the past.
And Debora, President Biden has ramped up his criticisms of Russian President Vladimir Putin over the past couple of weeks. Let's listen to some of that.
Oh, I think he is a war criminal.
A murderous dictator, a pure thug.
He's a butcher.
For God's sake, this man cannot remain in power.
And Secretary of State Antony Blinken has walked back that last statement a bit, saying the U.S. has no plans for a regime change in Russia. Do you think this rhetoric from the U.S. president could do more damage in terms of negotiating a ceasefire between Russia and Ukraine?
Well, it's not just the Secretary of State that's walking back those comments. The White House has also stressed that the speech was not a call to topple the Russian president, but rather an attempt to prepare the world's democracies for an extended conflict. And French President Emmanuel Macron has said he wouldn't have used Biden's words, adding that he saw his task as achieving first a ceasefire and then the total withdrawal of Russian troops by diplomatic means. There is, as you said, another round of negotiations being hosted by Turkey between Russia and Ukraine beginning tomorrow. And it's hard to assess what impact, if any, President Biden's comments will have on those talks, particularly if you consider that already up until now, negotiations have not made any real progress. And at last count, a Ukrainian negotiator described them as treading water.
Debora Patta in Kyiv, thank you.